Hello and welcome to my channel. I know that there are a bunch of you who are newly subscribed. Thank you so much for joining our family here. It's always my goal to bring through the highest information that is available to me for the purpose of our continued ascension experience, spiritual evolution, whatever you would like to call it. So thank you and welcome here. I wanted to come on and do a video for everyone because some things are taking place and I want you to have an awareness of it. And I know in my prior videos, I've talked a lot about a lot of these things that I'm going to talk about now. But it bears repeating again because, sometimes it takes a couple of times hearing it in order for it to really sink in and for us to receive what is needed. And if you think about it from the perspective of frequencies, dimensions, the different realms, different realities, as we're continuing to vacillate in our frequencies up and down, sideways, moving from fourth dimension to fifth dimension to ninth dimension. And then when we forget ourselves and we go unconscious, we plummet into third dimension and then have to find our way back up. This is an occurrence that is happening on a daily basis. There is no staying in one-dimensional frequency until we really shed out that lower level that we no longer need to play in. And that's a process, right? So while we are on our way to ascending our consciousness into a fifth dimensional state of being, you have to remember something. We're not going to be able to do that until we ascend our body so that our body is comfortable in that frequency as well. So if you want your reality outside of where you are to be different, to appear more magical, we have to hold that magic within. That's the way this works. There is no magic on the outside first. The magic will happen on the outside when we create the magic on the inside through our state of being. And the most important spiritual state we have is through our emotional body. Okay. The emotions are really what run the show. So when we're engaging in emotions that are feeling stressed or angry or frustrated, then our outward experience is always going to feel challenging to us because that's the emotion that we're creating from. If we want a higher aligned experience, we have to let go of those lower level emotions that are basically a byproduct of duality and polarity in the third dimension. And then choose something that's going to bring us into a higher state of being through not only our emotional body, but the thoughts that we're holding and the actions that we're taking. Okay. So keep in mind that there is no, boom, go to fifth dimensional consciousness, your body arrives, you arrive. It's not going to be like that. I know that we keep hearing that over and over again from other sources, but I can assure you that this is not going to happen like that. The body has a process that it must go through in its upgrade. And as we're upgrading to this crystalline DNA structure, we have to do certain things. We have to make time for, proper eating to nourish our body with things that are touched by the light of the sun, which means that we want to eat plants and seeds and nuts and berries and fruit and vegetables. So we want to make sure that we're nurturing ourselves, but we also want to make sure that we're not doing anything or giving up anything that we're not feeling aligned to giving up. That's going to be really critical, because if we force ourselves to give something up before we're ready to give it up, it's going to create a deficit. And the deficit is not so much going to be in our body, but it's going to be in our mind and our gut. Because if, let's say you're wanting to give up meat and you give up meat before your body actually is ready to give up meat, and you're giving up meat because your mind is telling you meat is bad, it's not good to eat meat, it's going to, create a deficit in the body, and then you give up meat because you think meat is bad, you are actually out of balance within your body, because your body may still be needing something that exchange is offering. So to jump from something into something else is not always the answer. And we can apply that to every aspect of our life. So jumping from something to something else is not going to make this journey any better or any easier. It may actually increase the stress that we're feeling. Okay, so I think that that's something that's important to remember, and not hopping on any bandwagons. We're each on an individual pathway. I went to school for nutrition counseling, for wellness coaching at the Institute for Integrative Nutrition back in, I think it was 2005 or 2006. And they talked about everything vegan and vegetarian. And I so badly wanted to give up meat. And I couldn't. My body needed it. And so I let myself eat what I felt comfortable eating, didn't judge myself for it. And then, as if magic happened, 5 years ago, all of a sudden, I just didn't feel like eating meat anymore. And it wasn't because I created that dynamic. It was because I released any of the resistance that I held toward eating meat, so that my body could shift naturally. Okay. Now, let's talk about the body for just a second. We went through a huge template upgrade yesterday. Again, as we're jumping now from the anchoring in from February 2nd, going all the way through this Valentine's gateway, right? And we anchored the codes Valentine's weekend because it was heart-centered. And so we had that huge up leveling, that huge upgrade to our energy bodies, to our light bodies, to our physical vessel. Okay. And it was on the weekend when we were most heart centric. But what was happening at the same time was we had all of this information out there presenting about, the convoy, the truckers, the money being taken from them, all of that stuff. That story playing out is a distraction for you, so that you're not going so deeply within to anchor these codes or receive as much light as you're needing to receive. Okay. So don't get caught up in the distraction out there, because it's not something that we are needing to experience. If it shows up at your front door, that's a different story, because now you're actually involved in what is taking place or playing out, and you have a role in it, because it's actually showed up for you right in your reality. It's right in front of you. You can't miss it. But if it's not right in front of you, don't go looking for it. Okay. It's like here in New York, when they announced back in 2020 that they were going to send out contact tracers to everybody's house, and they were building plans for New York City, the suburbs, Long Island, and everybody was in panic. And I kept saying, that's not my reality. I'm not going to have anybody showing up at my door, because that's not the reality I'm choosing. It's like, imagine the reality to be a movie, right? What movie do you want to watch? Do you want to watch the contact tracing movie, or do you want to watch something else that's light and airy, or maybe go do a meditation? The meditation might be the best option there, right? So I chose never to watch that contact tracing movie. And that was just how I transacted my reality. I was going to choose what was showing up in my reality, and I wasn't playing out to what the narrative was, because the narrative is just a storyline. However, we can make it real if we call it in and we anchor it into our field through our fear, which is number one, our belief system, okay, and our emotional body. All right. So we can make it very real if we work with those three things to anchor it into our reality, and then it becomes real for us because it's showing up at our door. Okay. But we don't have to choose that. And that's what I want to make you aware of today. And it's very important to have that awareness. Okay. So we anchored new codes last night. I can tell you that I woke up this morning, and I woke up abruptly at 4 o'clock in the morning, and between 3 and 4 o'clock is always higher self. So 4 o'clock in the morning, boom, wide awake. So I went down, let the cats out, came back up, probably laid in bed for about an hour trying to go back to sleep. I was wired, and I had all of these little blips of information coming through me that I knew that I had done major work last night in sleep state, anchoring the codes, because I use my physical body to do that, like the rest of you. Some of us have specific jobs. Some of us just do it on, just because we're doing it on behalf of Gaia. But when I woke up finally this morning, because I did fall back to sleep, and I woke up around 7, maybe 7:10, 7:15. I literally could not get out of bed. I felt like somebody had run me over with a truck or drugged me. And that's how it is when we have code activations or we're going through an upgrade. I could not get out of bed. I could not function. I could not get clarity in my head. The back of my neck was killing me. My back was aching. And I thought, wow, I'm going through another upgrade, whatever took place. So I got really super quiet, let myself get comfortable in bed, which is what I'm suggesting you do when you're dealing with this. And then I started to just tune in a little bit to my breathing and let myself go through some very deep breathing, right? Using my nose, breathing in, breathing out, and going through some deep, deep breathing. And then I asked, what is this that I'm integrating? And I got back the sacred templates, the sacred grids of the earth, right? So we are implementing the next level of gridding. And it's been confirmed through those that are also doing their work in many ways, that this Christed light templates, the template overlays, are being anchored now as we're coming into the most significant time that we have. This February is it. If you didn't watch my last video, please watch it. I explained it all there. February, this is our big month to make this shift happen, really anchoring into the age of Aquarius. And so the 22nd is the end date. That is like our goal, to anchor in all of these new higher light frequencies and activate these codes for not only Gaia, but for ourselves too, because we're an aspect of Gaia. Okay. So when I woke up, I was so excited, but I was so out of it. So I did what I suggest everybody else always does, is to just lay in bed and not get up, not try to force yourself to get out of bed. Was I starting my day later than I wanted to? Yes, because I didn't want to get up that late. I usually get up somewhere around 6:30, 7 o'clock. And so, but my body couldn't do it. And I had to lay there until it was completed. And the minute that it completed in my field, the back pain went away, the neck pain went away, the dull aching headache went away. Okay. We are really going through a restructuring process in such a huge way. And these codes, these influxes of light are coming in, and they are rearranging our DNA, our molecules, our whole energy field is being reworked. Okay. And why is this important to know? Is because just as I stayed in bed and rested, that's what I'm asking you to do too. When you can be in your bed, which is our light pod, we should get there if we're feeling tired, if we're feeling out of sorts, right? These last couple of days, I've been having such intensive experiences where I know that I'm shifting back and forth, between timelines, in realities, and at times during dimensions in these higher level frequencies that I am working with, that we're all working with. Okay. And I will know that I have to do something, and later in the day I will go to do it, and I will see it's already done, but I don't have the memory of doing it. Okay, so things like that. Something that I needed to complete being completed, but yet I don't remember completing it. I feel like, that had to have been done by somebody else, right? Things that have been missing, suddenly showing up. And I've looked in that place 10,000 times, and there it is, right? That is timelines, all timelines. And the more we elevate our consciousness, we're going to be bouncing back and forth in these timelines. Now, the other thing that's important to hold an awareness of is that we're going through activations, and sometimes these activations feel like you're getting sick. It feels like you have a cold. It feels like flu, and it is flu because it's a frequency light upgrade. That's what a flu is, right? FLU, frequency light upgrade. And it will feel like you were run over by a Mack truck. You may have a throbbing headache that is just, unstoppable, unbearable. You may feel dizzy, like your head is spinning. You may have nausea or even vomit. You can have so many different things. You may have eye pressure, eye strain. Go watch my video on Ascension symptoms. They're not really symptoms, they're DNA upgrades. I talk about a lot of it there, right? All of this is actually our way of purging out the lower level distortion that we're holding in our field that has to go. It can't come with us to where we're going. As we're taking our body into higher states of consciousness through choosing higher aligned emotions, higher aligned thoughts, and higher aligned physical experiences, better foods, eating better foods, nourishing our body, loving ourselves, supporting ourselves, our body is going to elevate with us. It's not just our consciousness that is going, because if it was, then our body would have to exit the earth plane, which means we exit the earth plane, and then we're in a whole new experience, right? So we want to make sure that we're doing the things that we need to do, and we're moving ourselves forward in whatever way that is that we are needing to move forward. We have to let go of all judgments. And yeah, you might be feeling restless legs, right? That is gamma working through our nervous system. You might feel surging impulses, electrical impulses, charging down your legs, charging through your arms. That's all gamma. It works the nervous system and the immune system. And if you are getting a cold frequently, it's because your body is adjusting and attuning, and this gamma light frequency is the culprit. It's what is creating this. And when you have gamma, you might feel wired and tired. It might make you feel like you cannot sleep, and yet you're exhausted, completely exhausted. And then it might change, and all of a sudden you feel so sleepy, foggy, groggy, you can't wake up. That's photonic light. And we're constantly bouncing back and forth between all of these energies, okay? So it's important to let go of the judgment. Just be present and show up for yourself with what is taking place. If you are weight conscious, well, you're going to have to let that go, right? I had to let that go too. I actually had to stop working out at the gym. I was doing very physical workouts, and I had to just allow my body to be what it was and love my body as it is, regardless of how it looks, because these light frequencies are so high, they force us to have to rest. And one of the things that we are forced to let go of through these interactions that we're having with these light frequencies is judgment. And the biggest judgment that we're hold is judgment of ourselves, which is why we judge other people. Okay. So it's really important to have an awareness, to let go of any kind of judgment that you might be having, judgment at having to get in bed at 5 o'clock in the evening when you were really hoping to go out and it's a Friday or a Saturday night. Just let go. Just get in that bed. Just do what you have to do for you, for yourself, letting go of judgment, and always looking from the highest perspective, from the highest timeline. Okay. And so that's the most important thing you can do right now, because we are going through massive upgrades. And I will tell you that these next days that are coming from now until the 22nd are our most critical days. We are anchoring the most critical energies into Gaia, into the solar cosmic stratosphere, multiverse, whatever the heck you want to call it, right? And also into our bodies. So we have to be very, very vigilant at what we're doing, making time to rest, making time to nourish ourselves, making whole healing foods. If we're eating meat, just make sure that you're eating beautiful greens that have been touched by the sun, nuts, seeds, and berries. So maybe a nice salad to go with your meat, and let go of the judgment. Okay. I will tell you, you shift 1,000 times faster when you let go of judgment. Judgment slows us down. And if you're someone that keeps asking about the why is this happening? Why do I constantly feel so tired? Why am I feeling supercharged and yet I can't go to sleep and I'm exhausted? Why am I getting sick again when I just felt like I had a cold a few days ago and then it passed by and now I feel sick again? Let go, just let go. When we ask the why, we're in resistance. And anytime we're in resistance, we're not going to shift. Where it's like pushing what we desire further away from us because we're in a state of resistance. We don't want to do that. We want to always be operating from the highest perspective and go, okay, I can handle this. I can manage this. I'm going to just let it be what it needs to be without worrying about why it's happening to me, right? Just letting it go. So that's the information I wanted to leave with you today. Very, very important for us to just have this awareness. You know, unity consciousness can't happen out there until it happens within. We have to unify within ourselves first. And that means that we get out of the way of judgment. We bring in our higher self. We activate our soul aspect, and we bring through our spiritual body. Okay. And so until we're doing that and we're in our wholeness, we're not going to connect and unify with others and step into that 5D unity consciousness that we're all desiring so much. We first have to get it right within our physical body. That's the most important place that this is going to happen first. It's going to happen in our physical body, not happening out there. Again, everything is within. Okay. If you go back to some of my other videos where I talk about, you know, my writings, because I have community posts where I talk about the sun being a projector. Everything that we are experiencing on the outside, that we are seeing visually on the outside, is happening through our eyes, which are taking a timeline and saying, okay, this is the timeline I want to experience, and then projecting it out the eyes, because the sun is actually the light of the projector coming in the crown, making it possible for us to see the reality that we're choosing. And there are many, many potentials, bazillions of potentials that we could be choosing as a timeline that we want to interact with. But we're only going to interact with the timeline that we're capable of residing in. So if you're looking to interact with a timeline that would sit in a ninth dimensional consciousness, but you are only capable of holding a fifth dimensional consciousness, you're not going to hit that ninth dimensional timeline, that reality, until you up level your vibration, right? Our frequency is our signature. It's our calling card. It's who we are. We must maintain that frequency and raise our frequency, our vibration, in every opportunity that we have. Okay. So again, it all comes back to everything within, letting go of the judgment. Even if you are not feeling these activations, you will. Okay. It's just a matter of time before you have enough of those activation codes kicking in. We're seeing the activation of all the numbers again, coming through, the significance of the 1111 timestamps. And many of you are receiving, you know, all the different codes, 444, 333, all of that. Okay. So if you're seeing them, that's an opportunity for you to get excited. Don't go outside of yourself and look for or ask, what do these codes mean? Think about what it means in the moment that you're seeing it. What does it feel like to you? When you see 444, what does that feel like for you? Okay. For me, it turned out to be responsibility. And so I have always looked to the 4-4 code at 4-4-4 code as responsibility. It works within my Syrian aspect. When I activated my Syrian higher self. And so when that aspect of my soul aspect kicked in, it was like, oh, let's get this done. And then I was seeing 4-4-4 everywhere, because for me, it was about responsibility, the responsibility of getting done what I needed to get done to make sure I got to my next level of awareness, consciousness, right? So if you're seeing the numbers, play with them, be playful, and don't judge them, and be joyful when you're taking them in, because it will activate and amplify your field that much more. Okay. And you can make up your own codes. You don't have to go by what they mean for somebody else, because for me, they might mean something completely different than they mean for you. All right. So enjoy each moment, even if you are sick in bed. You're going through a massive upgrade. It's okay. Be gentle with yourself. If you are in bed and you're feeling sick, and you are feeling like a Mack truck ran over you, or you are just so lethargic and tired you can't get out of bed, that's okay. Be okay. We're all going to hold space for you to up level, for you to step into the next highest state of your own being. Okay. Nobody is judging you. So you need to let go of that judgment. And sometimes stuff like that happens to us so that we can clear judgment, because it's the only way we're going to clear the judgment. And our higher self knows that. So these times are very powerful. Use them to your benefit. Don't create a detriment by needing to know the why and being in resistance. Okay. If there's something that you would like me to talk about or share about, please drop it in the comments below. I'd be happy to do a video on it. I know some of you have come to me with the things that I put in this video today that you are needing to hear. So here you go. This is a video for you. Those of you that were asking some of the questions that I've answered through this video. All right, so I'm going to leave it here. I wish you a wonderful whatever it is that you're doing. Know that I love you so, so very much, so very much. Thank you again to those of you who are new subscribers. Thank you to those of you who are still hanging in there with me. I so appreciate all of you supporting my work with your love and your support. Thank you so very much. I look forward to seeing you again here real soon. Take care. Bye-bye.